first in our new series for 2020, Pulsion Talks, where we're going to discuss some trends and topics affecting industry, what they mean for business, and what we feel people should be aware of. I'm joined this morning with our founder and owner, John Maguire, and our head of project delivery, Paul McAteer. So, there's been a lot of buzz around the industry in terms of cloud migration, your journey to the cloud for some time now. Could you give us a brief overview on what you think we mean by those terms, and in your view, why this is continuing to dominate the industry?
I suppose for cloud migration, effectively what's happened is that you had people traditionally developing software solutions, a lot of enterprise software that's sitting in businesses, sitting desktop applications, web applications sitting on people's desks, with servers actually sitting within a building. People then migrated to data centres for business continuity, for better reliability, better connectivity, and then what you're seeing is the rise of people like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, where people are properly taking those applications and putting them within really large, really global data centres. Effectively, that is the cloud. And in doing so, they're generally breaking up old style, what we call monolithic applications, which is generally a big piece of software with a database at the back end generally, and they're splitting those monolithic applications into microservices and deploying them to the cloud. And indeed, the kind of edge or the kind of state of the art within cloud migration is really towards kind of serverless architectures and kind of microservices. So people are taking their old applications and deploying them to the cloud and generally changing the architecture as they do.
Okay.
And we've got a couple of examples where companies have gone for a hybrid approach, where they've said we'll go serverless for some parts of the components and we'll actually implement our own servers within the cloud. So it's a bit of a mix and match between the two, so that companies don't have to go whole hog to start with and do everything in a single shot. They can do it in stepwise if they wish to.
Yes. And everybody is on. I think everybody's on a journey towards that. Very few people these days just do a full big bang approach to that. So people basically just exploring it and moving forward. A lot of people will take their old servers and put them into containers, like things like EC2 containers on AWS, and basically just ship the whole application onto a container that runs it in the cloud. And then perhaps after that, people can break those applications down into services.
You both said that there's sometimes a hybrid approach, and they take some bits fully serverless and keeping some still on their server. Is that because there's a reluctance to go full hog right away?
In the particular example that we've looked at, it was a more cost-effective approach. They had a server infrastructure that effectively had some front-end work, and it was easier to replicate that in the cloud, and then arguably the back-end components of that system were made serverless. So you actually have a system that works well together, preserves some of the infrastructure they had before, albeit in the cloud, and actually starts their journey towards a full cloud implementation. What we can do in the future is we can take the servers they have currently in the cloud in the new solution and make them fully serverless at some point, should we choose to do so.
And what you're also seeing when people move those monolithic applications, they get some of the benefits of the cloud. They're getting the benefits, for example, that it's running maybe a better managed kind of architecture, more secure kind of architecture data centers, large data centers run by Amazon or Microsoft. But what they're not doing is actually really making the application any better. It's just running in a different place. The problem with monolithic applications is the monolithic applications end up you get into situations with old applications, especially where you make a change in one part of the application, it affects something completely different. Old applications that do things like unit tests, etc. So they're reliable because they've been there for a while, but they take a long time to change, and people are moving towards microservice type architecture. A lot of people take monoliths and breaking them up into microservices. And really, what the cloud suppliers are doing, people like Amazon, these things called Lambda functions, Azure functions, and effectively what they're doing is they're allowing people to run applications serverless using microservices within the cloud. So and by decoupling parts of the application, they allow changes to be done quicker to make systems more reliable as well and more scalable.
What are are the main reasons organisations would look to start their transformation to the cloud if they haven't already done so?
The biggest thing you're seeing is cost. What the customers we speak to are finding is that their current hosting costs for fully redundant reliant systems are, in their words, eye-wateringly expensive. We can't quantify that because we don't see the numbers. What we do know is that from the estimates we put together on what their predicted hosting costs in a cloud formation would be are significantly less than they're paying at the moment. So for these particular customers, it's very much a cost issue. You also have reliability, and the reliability is built in to the hosting solutions on the cloud that we work with, where Amazon, in this specific example, provides redundancy across multiple regions and multiple availability zones that just happen, if you want to call it that, without too much work being done in terms of implementation and development.
There's also the whole kind of managing your own hardware and managing your own operating systems, etc. One of the real benefits of going completely serverless is you don't have to think about hardware, because you actually don't know what hardware it's running on. It's just running in the cloud, truly in the cloud, and you don't have to worry about patching operating systems, etc., because that's all it'll be running an operating system somewhere, but that's the job of the cloud suppliers. So suddenly from having in kind of the old days, as I'd say, you have your server person who has to manage the hardware, who has to make sure that drives work in an environment that you have RAID on there, so you don't lose data on servers. You've got a backup server. You've got a backup server sitting in another location, so that if your location is hit by a fire, you can swap over. The cloud just takes all of that away, and it also takes the hardware away. It kind of takes the server person. Those server people are moving from people who manage hardware servers and the software, the operating system around about it, and the security of those servers. They end up being what we call DevOps people to some extent, where they're then building what's called infrastructure as code. So rather than building hardware, they're actually describing what a system looks like in software, and it just runs on the cloud. So if there's a database and some services around that, Lambda functions, API gateway, etc. on AWS, then what they're doing is they're actually coding that, so it can be built automatically. So there's so many benefits of moving over to cloud. Cost is one of them.
And so that's what we've seen in our society. People, they've moved from being the traditional box maintainers to that DevOps role, where they actually get heavily involved in the infrastructure on the serverless side and putting systems together and adding value at that level. So their role has evolved greatly during the past 12 to 18 months for us.
Okay. Yeah. And if people are still maybe slightly reluctant to make the move, what would you say to them in terms of any reluctance to move to the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I think sometimes people are reluctant to move because people are reluctant to embrace change. And I think it's certainly been proven time and again within software technology, certainly as long as we've been in the business, that if you don't embrace change, you either change or you die. And I think that the reason people are reluctant is there's a whole thing around, is it secure? You have some vested interest, sometimes, to be perfectly frank, within organisations where it can be a turkey's voting for Christmas type scenario, whereby you may have an IT team who manage a big infrastructure of servers, applications, who actually really don't want to move to the cloud. I think we saw that a few years ago. Don't see it much now. I think people are more open-minded. They realise that, for example, getting rid of all the hardware servers within a building or data centre is not actually going to mean that people who know about operating systems and hardware are going to put out their jobs. These people just move into a role of managing cloud. So there's almost a turkey's vote for Christmas type scenario. There's the security aspects that people look at security and say, well, it's not as secure as it would be in our own premise. But that thing's a fallacy. It's way more secure. You're seeing people at the US Defence Department moving things to the cloud, to Microsoft Azure for the JEDI project, for example. You're seeing that they're happy with security. So I tend to think that the people who are employing really top-notch security folk within AWS, within Google Cloud, within Microsoft Azure are probably better security people than in small, medium-sized businesses. So security, I don't think is a problem anymore. Cost of training folk, etc. Just changing your staff from on-site staff who write software in a certain way, who manage infrastructure in a certain way. There's obviously all of those things to be taken into account, but it's almost something that you can't really ignore because everybody's moving. And the cost. There's cost in serverless. There's a pay-as-you-go type thing, which means your costs are quite small. As you, if you're using very little, but you can spike and peak, and your costs will go up. So there's a kind of variable. You move from a standard cost model to a variable cost model as well. Some people are a bit wary about that variable cost model as well. But what you find is if you're scaling up something, if you happen to be a company that sells tickets online and you have a huge concert that implies that you must have a certain capacity to deal with tickets that are being sold within a 5-minute period and at 9 o'clock on a Friday morning, then how do you scale that? You scale it to the level whereby you have lots of servers to handle the peak. What you can do with the cloud is, whilst it might be variable and people say, well, can I predict the costs? You can if you calculate it properly to some extent, but what it allows you to do is you can spike those costs when you need them and have the cost variable when you don't. So some people misunderstand the kind of cost of instruction and see it as perhaps more expensive sometimes than on-premise servers and infrastructure, but what they don't realise is that there are so many hidden costs with on-premise disaster recovery, people to look after, servers, the cost of electricity, all of those things that just go away.
Certainly what I would say, anyone considering a move to either a new system or moving to the cloud, they should focus on the outcomes they're looking for rather than the underlying technologies and implementation, and then have the discussion afterwards to figure out what solution is best for them. Excuse me, whether that be hosted solutions or cloud solutions. We can do either. Certainly what we're seeing is that excuse me, everything is moving more towards the cloud for us, and very few people are actually asking us for hosted infrastructure.
So it's more about what someone needs for their business as the outcome, in terms of what's the driving need for this, and the technology or whatever the cloud solution is the facilitator of that, basically. So there's many technologies out there, two in particular being Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure that we've already mentioned. Why do you think one technology would be chosen over the other?
I think basically it kind of depends what you're doing. Some cloud providers have certain strengths in over others. There's Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, also Google Cloud as well. Some perhaps might have better algorithms in machine learning than others. Some might have more services. It might be down to cost. So it's really a matter of what we would generally do. We look at both Amazon, Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud for our customers. I think for making the decision, it's really evaluating what your use case is. As Paul says, it's what do folk want. What outcome? If it's a really heavy machine learning, artificial intelligence project, there may be certain services on certain cloud providers that are perhaps better suited to that. So I don't think it should be a war or some sort of big choice between, do you go Microsoft, do you go AWS, do you go Google. I think it's really more about choosing the best technology for the best.
And certainly in some cases it's possible to mix and match. We do have one solution where we're using a Google optical character recognition system and plugging that into an AWS service, because they're all just services. That where they live, who's hosting them is largely irrelevant.
And one of the big things with cloud that we probably haven't mentioned before is almost the kind of the Lego block kind of nature of some of the more modern services, that you can have an image recognition service that you just plug in, so you can choose the best image recognition service that you want from one of the cloud providers. You might have something that does, for example, natural language processing or entity detection or whatever within machine learning, or something which, or you might choose to use the best document-based database or graph-based database based on a particular infrastructure. So they are kind of in a battle with each other to kind of maintain parity in services. So most of the cloud providers, and I think as people who use cloud providers and for customers as well using that's quite good, because it is commercially, it means that the cloud providers are kind of kept keen in terms of the pricing, and there's actually a market for these services, a competitive market. So it means that whilst people might say, well, I'm a bit worried about putting all my eggs in one basket, that if I put all my eggs in the Amazon basket, the pricing may go up, and I might put it all in the Microsoft basket, the pricing may go up. The fact is, Microsoft and Amazon Web Services are the two biggest market groups, a bit behind them in terms of size. They're keeping each other keen in terms of pricing.
Yeah, because that kind of tension is a good thing for the industry.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is that it feels almost weekly. Each of them is announcing new services.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's always something new, whether pricing changes or new services or new infrastructure, new security processes. It almost seems weekly at the moment that these things are happening.
Moving. What would you say to companies and businesses that are considering moving and just need that final push to take the leap?
I'd say certainly come have a chat to us. We do have significant experience. We are AWS consultant partners. We're also Microsoft Go partners. So we have the experience in both systems. We're well aware through the history of the company, it's 25 years now plus. We have a great deal of experience in putting systems together. We know how these things work. It's worth having that discussion with us. Give us a view of what your vision is, what solutions you're looking for, and we can help guide you to a good solution that works for you.
Obviously, what the best outcome again, I think.
Yeah, and I think people have to seriously be looking at the cloud. I think they have to seriously be looking at all new technology. And I think one of the things about the cloud is the agility it gives you. It's one of the huge things about the cloud that you have a lot of services kind of written off the shelf functions you can use. If you want to do, we talked about image recognition. If you want to do image recognition, then there's a service out there to do it. You don't have to go and write your own service. If you want to look at natural language processing, there's a service to do that. And people are, even identity of people logging into the system. You get things like Cognito in Amazon, which means that perhaps 10, 15 years ago, you'd write your own security management in terms of logins, users, passwords, etc. You just wouldn't do that. There's a Lego block to handle that off the shelf, used by thousands, tens of thousands of companies worldwide. Why would you go and develop your own as well? So there's so many benefits that if people aren't looking at it, you really have to ask the question as to how they're actually going to survive. From if IT is a big part of their business, which software and IT is a huge part of practically everything.
Definitely. Thanks both of you. So throughout this series, we want to encourage feedback, comment, your thoughts on anything that's been discussed throughout. So we'd welcome your thoughts on what's been discussed today around cloud migration, and we'd hope you join us next time, where we'll be looking at the impact that agile methodology has had on our industry. Thank you.
Thank you.